So many of the scenes that you see, a lot of things were improvised.
Hey, what's this one song? Feeling. Don't worry about it.
The whole cast were like essentially non-actors.
By your reaction, you're lying. So you gave it to me. It's not yours anymore.
People can say something about Prince, and it used to bother me. Once I changed my name, it had no effect on me. When we get to the point where we stop trying to dictate what a person's supposed to do with their life and how people are supposed to perceive them, we'll be better off.
In 1983, Prince was 25 years old and ready to take the biggest risk of his career. He didn't just want to release another record or experiment with a new sound. He wanted to make a movie. Not a concert film, not a stitched-together visual album, but a full-length feature where he would play the lead, telling a story that looks suspiciously like his own life.
After me, motherfucker!
The idea began with a screenplay by William Blinn, who had written for TV shows like Fame and Roots. Prince and his team brought the script to life, and later, director Albert Magnoli was hired not only to direct, but to rewrite it into what would become Purple Rain. Magnoli was fresh out of USC's film school and had never directed a feature before. Most of the supporting cast weren't trained actors, they were musicians from Prince's world, including his band The Revolution and members of The Time. From the outside, it looked like a classic vanity project, an ambitious star trying to force the industry to see him as more than a musician. But the truth was stranger than that, and a lot riskier.
There's a lot of standout scenes in the film, and I think the most famous one is purify yourselves in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
You have to purify yourself in Lake Minnetonka.
I jumped into water that was about to freeze up.
That ain't Lake Minnetonka.
I don't believe it! How can you do that to me?
We shot that scene, I think, 4 times, so by the time I finished, I was going through hypothermia. And I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
The movie was called Purple Rain, and by every standard at the time, it shouldn't have worked. Studios were skeptical. Warner Brothers supported the project but had serious doubts. The script felt thin, the tone was uneven, and the lead actor had no formal training. Even more concerning, the character Prince wanted to play a talented but troubled performer with an abusive father and a volatile personality wasn't far removed from who he actually was. He wasn't creating distance between himself and the role, he was collapsing the space entirely. Prince insisted on creative control. He oversaw the music, the lighting, the wardrobe, and the casting.
I can't use Purple Rain. I can't use this song. I can't sell the song Purple Rain now unless I record it again.
He surrounded himself with familiar faces, casting his bandmates in key roles. And when the cameras rolled, he didn't transform into someone else. He simply stepped forward as the kid, a version of himself with all the edges left sharp. The shoot wasn't easy. The winter in Minnesota made filming difficult and the production was constantly adjusting. Prince could be intense and inconsistent, sometimes committed to long rehearsals, sometimes disappearing without notice. The cast had trouble with acting, and many scenes were rewritten during production. And at the center of it all was a story that didn't try to soften its flaws. There's a reason parts of Purple Rain still feel uncomfortable to watch. The kid lashes out at those closest to him. He's controlling, self-destructive, and emotionally unstable.
When you told Prince that you were joining Morris's group, he actually slapped you.
Yes.
I'm gonna join Morris's group.
That was a very misogynistic kind of scene, like, you know,
Yes, it is.
if you're not going to be in my group, I'm going to basically
Right.
beat you.
These moments weren't edited out or explained away. Prince left them in, not to justify them, but maybe to show something he couldn't express through words. The slap remains one of the most controversial moments in the film. It happened suddenly, without resolution or apology. For some viewers, it was a moment of honesty. For others, it felt unresolved and damaging. Prince never publicly explained why he kept it in. And then there was the music. Explicit, unfiltered, and deeply sexual. Darling Nikki, in particular, became infamous. It was the song that led Tipper Gore to found the Parents Music Resource Center. After hearing her daughter listen to it, she pushed for parental advisory labels on albums. The lyrics weren't subtle, and Prince didn't tone them down. What held the movie together was the music. While the performances were pre-recorded, they were staged and shot to feel live. Songs like Let's Go Crazy, Darling Nikki, and I Would Die For You weren't just part of the soundtrack, they were the emotional core of the film. And when Prince steps on stage at the end to perform the title track, it doesn't feel like a performance. It feels like a confession. Somehow, it all worked. The film was released in July 1984 and earned over $70 million at the box office. The soundtrack became a cultural landmark, selling more than 25 million copies. Prince won an Academy Award for Best Original Song Score.
And I said, "You're going to get the Oscar." I go, "Not as an actor, but for the music."
An award that no longer exists. And just like that, he didn't just become a bigger star, he became a myth.
What's going through your mind right now?
I just saw my dad, and I think he's crying. I'm just so thankful to Prince, the good Lord, and every single person out there. Thank you very, very much for being here.
But even after all the success, he rarely spoke about what the movie meant. He avoided questions about the story's darker moments and never fully explained how much of himself was in it. Maybe he didn't want to, or maybe the movie said everything he needed to say. Purple Rain wasn't supposed to succeed. It was too strange, too personal, too much of a gamble. But it did succeed, and in doing so, it changed Prince's life and pop culture forever.